The US-backed anti-government mobs here in Thailand are back in the streets again, but this time they're complaining about what's going on in Myanmar. They're upset that the military there has ousted Aung San Suu Kyi and her National League for Democracy political party from power, and they claim that they're upset and they're getting involved in Myanmar's internal political affairs because they want to fight for freedom, democracy, and human rights everywhere, not just in Thailand. But I want to point out two things that proves how untrue that actually is and help reveal the real reason they're out in the streets. First, it's important to understand that the mobs in the streets here in Thailand are a front for the US-backed, billionaire-led opposition parties here in Thailand. That is Thanaton's Move Forward and Progressive Movement parties, but also Thaksin Shinawat's Thai party. And Thaksin tries to fashion himself as someone interested in fundamental change in Thailand and, of course, for democracy here in Thailand. But I want to refresh people's memories about who Thaksin Shinawat actually was when he was in power and the sort of things that he did. So this is a Reuters article from 2010. Thai loan to Myanmar helped Thaksin business. This is about a $121 million loan through the Export-Import Bank of Thailand to Myanmar's government in 2004 to buy services and equipment from Shin Satellite. That was a satellite company owned by Thaksin Shinawat's family. So not only is it off the charts corruption, but it shows that Thaksin Shinawat, this guy who claims that he cares about democracy, was more than willing to do business with the generals in Myanmar when it meant enriching himself. So the idea of democracy is not something Thaksin is actually fighting for, it's something he's hiding his real agenda behind. We're hearing about Aung San Suu Kyi and how she's this democracy icon in Myanmar and how wrong it was for the military there to remove her from power. Well, let's refresh everyone's memory about what the Western media itself was saying about her just a couple of years ago. This is from The Guardian. This is from 2018. From peace icon to pariah, Aung San Suu Kyi's fall from grace. So this was after she got into power and she was state councilor in Myanmar. She wasn't listening to the West. She wasn't cutting all ties with China like they asked her to. So they started digging up all of the information they had about her and her support base abusing the Rohingya for years and years and years. They covered this up for years and pinned it on the military in Myanmar. And then once she started disobeying them, they revealed all of this information to the public. And that's actually her fall from grace, was the fall from the illusion of grace, because she never had any to begin with. Her and her movement, they have always been vicious, racist, bigoted, and violent since the very beginning. The violence against the Rohingya is spearheaded by Aung San Suu Kyi's support base, not the military. As a matter of fact, when the military was in power, they tried to offer citizenship to the Rohingya, and who opposed it? Aung San Suu Kyi and her support base. So I want to show people, again, when the mob comes out into the streets here in Thailand and says they want to fight for freedom, democracy, and human rights in Myanmar, this is not something they're actually fighting for. This is something they're hiding their agenda behind. The common denominator here isn't, two pro-democracy movements. The common denominator is U.S. funding and backing, and ultimately a U.S. agenda for Southeast Asia to destabilize it and create an arc of chaos along China's southern periphery. So if you thought the video was useful, please like and share it. Think about subscribing to my channel. Check the video description for the links mentioned in this video, as well as for ways you can help support my work, like by becoming a Patreon member. And as always, thank you for watching.